They were China's golden couple, loved on screen, worshipped by fans, chased by cameras. But one day, they vanished. No goodbye, no warning, not from a scandal, not from a meltdown. They simply disappeared. And when the truth finally surfaced, it shocked the entire world. Wang and Shen Yue had left China with a secret baby. This is their story. At first, it was nothing, a missed event. Shen Yue was absent from a major drama premiere. Dylan skipped a luxury brand endorsement. The media assumed it was scheduling. The fans weren't worried. But those who watched closely saw the pattern. No social posts, no paparazzi sightings, no updates. And then whispers began. Dylan was seen leaving a private hospital late at night, alone, covered in black from head to toe. A woman matching Shen Yue's frame had been admitted to the VIP wing of the same hospital. No name, no photos, no trace. But staff noticed. The same man kept visiting, every single night. And that man was Wang, behind locked doors, far away from flashing lights. Shen Yue had given birth, a baby girl, their baby. No press knew, no fans guessed. They named her Lian, meaning the lotus that rises from the mud. For months, they kept her hidden. No visitors, no photos, not even their closest friends were told. Dylan shut down every offer, every interview. He spent his days at Shen Yue's side, learning how to hold a newborn, changing diapers, heating milk. He smiled differently now, not for cameras, for her, for them. Their decision was made. Once Shen Yue recovered, they would leave, not for a vacation, not for a few weeks. They would vanish completely. A private jet was chartered under an alias. A driver, ex-military, was hired for one job, to get them out without being followed. No one was told, not their agencies, not their families. One cold evening, while the world slept, they slipped through the airport gates. The baby was wrapped in Shen Yue's childhood blanket. Dylan walked beside her with one hand on the stroller, the other gripping her hand. As the jet lifted into the dark sky, Shen Yue turned to Dylan and whispered, "We're free now." That was the last time anyone saw them. For months, they landed in a quiet mountain town in Switzerland. Snow blanketed the rooftops. Locals minded their own business. They rented a small stone cottage with a fireplace and no internet. Shen Yue learned to cook using herbs from the backyard. Dylan chopped firewood and sang lullabies to Lian. They were no longer stars, just two young parents, learning how to live without fame, without noise. For the first time in years, they slept peacefully. And every morning, their daughter woke them up with laughter. The kind of laughter that heals what the world had broken. But peace never lasts long. One morning, a hiker spotted the couple walking through the woods. He recognized Dylan's voice. He did not take a photo, but he told someone, who told another. Within days, a Taiwanese blog leaked the headline, Wang and Shen Yue living abroad with secret baby. The internet exploded. Some fans were furious. Some cried. Others refused to believe it. Until a video dropped on Shen Yue's dormant account. No caption. No hashtags. Just a soft piano melody. And images. Dylan rocking the baby beside a fireplace. Shen Yue feeding her in a quiet garden. The three of them walking along a lakeside trail, hand in hand. And the final frame. A note in her handwriting. We chose love over noise. Then, black screen. The video went viral in under an hour. Comments flooded in. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. They gave up everything for love. Celebrities reposted it. News outlets begged for interviews. But Dylan and Shen Yue remained silent. No press. No appearances. Just peace. And that made the world love them even more. They weren't hiding out of shame. They were protecting something sacred. Their daughter. A year later, a letter was printed in a high-end magazine. It wasn't signed, but confirmed to be written by Dylan himself. I have lived many lives. as a star, as a son, as a lover. But nothing compares to being her father, or her partner. And though I may never walk another red carpet again, I now walk something far more sacred. A quiet road. With them. My family. And that is enough. Just when the world had accepted that they were gone, it happened. Dylan and Shen Yue were spotted at Tokyo airport. No masks. No disguise. Shen Yue held Lian in her arms. Dylan pushed the suitcase, smiling softly. The cameras clicked. But for once, there was no chaos. Only awe. Because what the world saw was not a scandal. It was a family. Stronger. Braver. Together. And sometimes, love is not loud. It is quiet, gentle, and unshakable. If you were touched by this story, subscribe for more deeply emotional and cinematic narratives from the world of your favorite stars. This was not just a drama. It was real and unforgettable. They had only just stepped back into the light. One airport photo, one small smile, and the world went wild. The headlines came crashing in. Dylan and Shen Yue returned with their secret child. Some called them selfish. Others called them brave. But one thing was clear. The spotlight they tried to escape was now chasing them faster than ever. That very night, the hotel they checked into was surrounded by flashing lights. Shen Yue cradled Lian in her arms, shielding her from the storm of cameras. Dylan kept his head down, his jaw tight, his voice low. We stay one night, then we disappear again. He was calm on the outside, but inside, he was unraveling. They barely slept. At 3 a.m, Shen Yue sat by the window, watching the streetlights flicker. She whispered to Dylan, "Do you regret coming back?" He sat beside her, wrapped her in his arms, and said, "Never. I would walk through fire if it means the world sees her smile once." Then he kissed their daughter's tiny hand, and promised to protect them no matter what came next. By sunrise, they were gone again. Another city, another disguise. But something had changed. This time, they were not hiding. They were observing, planning, and waiting. Meanwhile, back in China, social media was on fire. Some fans demanded they return to the screen. Others begged them to stay silent. Rumors began to fly. Had Shen Yue left acting for good? Was Dylan secretly negotiating with producers behind her back? Every network wanted the scoop, but none of them could reach the couple. Until one journalist received a handwritten letter. No name, no address, just 3 words on the envelope. "This is truth." Inside, the note read, "Do not chase shadows. We are not a story. We are a family. We gave you years of our light. Let us live in the dark. For now." It was signed with the initials D and S. That single letter broke the internet. It was reposted millions of times, translated into dozens of languages. Even celebrities shared it, calling it the most honest thing 2 stars had ever done. But behind the mystery, behind the media frenzy, something else was happening. Something no one saw coming. In a quiet village on the edge of Kyoto, Dylan and Shen Yue were making a new kind of decision. Not one based on fear, not based on hiding, but one built on something stronger. Conviction. They had been offered something. A documentary. A real one. Not fiction. No makeup. No directors. Just them. Their story. Their journey. Their child. The producer who approached them was not a stranger. She was the same woman who cast them in their first drama together. She told them, "The world does not need your fame. It needs your truth." Shen Yue hesitated, but Dylan said, "If we tell it on our terms." So they agreed, but under one condition. The documentary would not air until 2 years later, and only if Lian herself was part of the final decision. Until then, the footage would remain locked away. The camera rolled for 12 hours that day. No script, no prep, just moments. Lian crawling through the garden, Shen Yue singing her lullaby from the drama that made her famous, Dylan cooking noodles while humming off-key, the three of them dancing in the kitchen. No music, just laughter. But the most powerful moment happened after midnight. The director asked one question. Would you ever return to the spotlight? Shen Yue looked down, then looked at Dylan. He stared at her for a moment, then said softly, maybe, but not as stars. As storytellers. The camera kept rolling. As Shen Yue whispered, if we ever go back, it will be because our story is no longer just ours. It will belong to the ones who waited, who listened, who believed in love that did not need to be loud. That night, they slept with the windows open. The wind carried the scent of tea leaves. Lian curled between them, and in that silence, there was no need to speak. They knew this was the beginning of something the world had never seen before. And somewhere, far away, back in the city, a young director watched their footage, tears rolling down her cheeks. She turned to her team and said, this is not a comeback. This is a revolution. Because Dylan and Shen Yue had not just left China with a secret. They had returned with a message. That fame means nothing without truth. That love means everything. And that sometimes, the greatest story ever told is the one you never expected. If you felt every word, if you believe in quiet love and second chances, subscribe, because this story is only just beginning.